Okay, hi, welcome to another month. It's the end of August. Nope, that's just not true. Let's try this again. Hi, welcome to the end of July. It's time to reset our finances, goals, all the things for the next month, which is August, in fact. If you're new here, I'm Sandra. I'm a 26-year-old occupational therapist. I live in Denver, Colorado with my boyfriend, and I have the lofty financial goal of paying off 6 figures of student loan debt ASAP. The goal is by the time I turn 30, and then also by the time I turn 30, I want to have $100,000 invested. That is what we're working towards here on this channel, and as part of that process, I am sharing super transparent finances, and actually in this video, we are leveling up the transparency. So if you didn't watch Wednesday's video, you have some exciting information coming your way. Don't worry, hang tight, I'll fill you in. As part of that transparency, every single month, I like to share all of my expenses, how I did compared to each of my financial targets for the month, and just kind of explain myself as well as go through what I want the next month to look like. So that's what we're gonna do in this video, but this time there's a twist. I heard your feedback. I understand that you were feeling a little frustrated not knowing what all of our monthly expenses looked like, because before I would just share what I contributed to our combined expenses, which is $900 a month. But I think it's helpful to understand the bigger picture. My reasoning for how I was doing it was that I wanted to respect my partner's privacy. I am transparent on the internet. He doesn't necessarily want that. So a happy medium that we kind of came up with was all of the expenses that we spend on every single month, I'll share, and then his income will just be related to those expenses, not his true income. Basically, I just have what he contributes to our household every month, as well as what each of those expenses are. So in this video, I'm gonna go through and break down what our budget is, and then I'll jump to the month of July and kind of look at how we did in comparison to what our targets are for the month, where our spending was, what we're working towards for next month. So if that all sounds interesting to you and you're just a nosy person that wants to know what other people are spending their money on, this is the video for you. Real quick before we get started, if you are watching this and thinking, man, that budget template looks really useful and very helpful, it is. I designed it myself, and it is available on my Etsy store down below for under $10 to get you started with your financial crushing it. And if you want to support me for free, then you can just go ahead and like this video, leave a comment, share it with a friend, whatever it is. I really appreciate it. It really does help go a long way. My mission with this channel is to use financial transparency to empower other people. So the more people I can reach, the more people I hope to empower if you're in a situation like me. Okay, let's jump into what our expected budget is for the month. Starting with my income, I expect to make about $4,000 a month. Usually I make about $20 less than this, but that's why we budget with a little bit of a buffer. I just like a nice even number. Our fixed expenses are the mortgage, which is $3,046. This includes property insurance, property taxes, all the things. For gas and power, we budget on average. So we looked at the average of our first year and we spent $187 on average on gas and power. I guess now we're 2 years in. This is our third. This is our 4th year. I don't know. So we just budget an average of $187. We assign all that money. And then the great thing about my budget template is if you assign $187 one month, but only spend 30, we don't have air conditioner, so in the summer we spend a lot less, then the extra money just rolls over, so that in those winter months where you spend a little more, you just have money in that bucket and you can spend from it, as long as you are actually using the template and not just spending from your checking account. So we budget an average for gas and power as well as water, which is $80. Trash is $40 a month, hoping to actually decrease this. We're not happy with our trash company. We just have to do the actual changing of the guards. Internet is $84.69. Car insurance is $214.69. And then our phones combined are $90. I plan to put $1,960 every single month to my debt. Of this, $1,060 is a minimum payment, $200 is a contribution from my work, and $700 is what I hope to put towards my debt as extra. Sometimes it's more. It's never less though. I always plan to put at least $700. And then I invest in my Roth IRA, $583. Jake's investments are not included here as part of his financial privacy. We save for sinking funds every single month. The sinking funds that I contribute to are gifts, travel, ski passes, credit card annual fees, and car maintenance, as well as I put extra money from interest made on my sinking funds towards a concert fund. And then Jake contributes to all of these. So for gifts, we put $63 a month. Travel, we put $205 a month combined. For our ski passes, we put $76 a month. For our credit card annual fees, we put $62 a month. Car maintenance, we put $30 a month. That's not right. We put more than $30 a month. I'll have to go back and figure that out. It must be $100 a month. I will figure that out. that one's wrong. Currently, we do not have a car fund going. We are on a septic system, so we just budget to have that pumped every couple years. It's $28 a month. Meat is $167 a month. This is if we buy a cow in bulk or if we go hunting and harvest an animal and have to process it. Technology, we budget $100 a month, and clothing $84, with gear being $75 as well. Bringing our total sinking fund contributions to $960. Now for our variable expenses. For groceries, we budget $1,000 a month. We're actually probably gonna need to increase this. I'll talk about that. Eating out, we budget $150 a month. So our grocery budget is high, but we also don't eat out too much. For cars, we budget $350 a month for just household expenses, paper towels, toilet paper, like those kinds of things. $300 a month, and then we each give ourselves $200 a month to spend on whatever the heck we want. So that brings our total adjusted income, our total income to cover expenses, to $10,000 per month. Our fixed expenses are $3,742.38. Our debt is $1,960. Investments is $583. That's my investments only. Savings of sinking funds, $960, and then variable expenses at $2,220. That leaves us with $554 technically as a buffer with Jake's pretend income and my income. Okay, so July. Let's talk about her. She was a fun month. I had a blast. Let's start first with income. Like I kind of mentioned, I always make $5, $10, $20 less than the technical like $2,000 a paycheck that I expect to make. So this month I technically made $3,982.43 after taxes, meaning that I made $17.57 less than I expected. Jake, being the superstar he is, contributed the expected $6,000 to our monthly expenses. So what did we do with this money this month? Let's start with my biggest financial goal, which is paying off my student loan debt. I put $2,060 towards my loans, most of it going towards student loan debt 5, which has the highest interest rate at 6.5 something percent and a balance of around $17,000. I have $500 pending on that, so the balance will be in the $16,000 range soon. My total balance is also $84,900 something dollars with that $500 pending payment, so it'll be $84,500 in a day or two once that posts. Very excited to be solidly in the $84,000 range, hoping that next month puts me solidly in the $82,000 range so that September, probably October, will be breaking $80,000. By the end of the year, my goal is to have less than $76,000 in student loans because my gross income is $76,000. So if my loans can be less than what I make in a year, that's a milestone in my book. So that's the goal. So that's where we're at with debt. This month I put an extra $100 to those loans. Every bit genuinely counts. It is all very helpful. I invested the expected $583 to my Roth IRA. I do also invest towards my 401k pre-tax. That's not included in this because my budget is just post-tax income. So that's all just pretend money, okay? Fixed expenses. This is where things usually don't go awry. We kind of know what we're assigning each month. So we assigned exactly what we expected to each of these areas. So the only thing that I don't have a bill for yet is gas and power for the month, but that's okay. In terms of our payments, mortgage, right on the money. Our interest rate is relatively low, so right now paying extra towards this mortgage isn't a priority. We'd rather invest the money. Gas and power is a question mark. Of the $80 we budget for water, we spent $77.52, so there is $2.48 that'll just roll over into the next month. Trash wise, we spent $40, internet $84.69, car insurance, we were billed $214.68, so a whole penny is gonna roll over. And when I'm 80, I'll have enough money saved to cover 1 month of car insurance. And then our phones, obviously right on the money. These are fixed expenses. They do not change that much. So this is what we expect. All right, let's chat about our variable expenses, shall we? This month we overspent. So let's start just by going over the total amounts, and then we can dive into our expense tracker and kind of see exactly where that money went. Groceries, we expect $1,000, assigned $1,000, spent $1,015.90. Eating out, we expect $150, assigned $150, spent $159.94. So we're like pretty on track here. For our cars, we expect $350, we assigned $350, we spent $128 on tolls, on gas. So that leaves us with $221.58 that will roll over into next month. So if we have higher spending, like if we go on a road trip, for example, then that's just covered in there. And then in terms of Jake's spending, he assigned himself $200. He spent $108.76, leaving $91.24 to roll over towards next month. And then I assigned myself $200 and spent $29.80, giving me $170 to roll over to next month. So let's jump over to our expenses category and we'll just filter item by item. So starting with our groceries. We spent just many times on groceries. Nothing too crazy, mostly Instacart, mostly Instacart. All of these Costco purchases are also Instacart. We did get peaches. It is almost peach season. They weren't very good. That was $18 for side of the road mediocre peaches. We're actually gonna go to Palisade and pick peaches in August, hopefully. I think that's a goal. And then we had a couple like snacks that we just ran out and grabbed, or like, I honestly don't know what this $2.39 was at Natural Grocers, but it was me that bought it. Corn. I had to get corn because the Instacart didn't get corn. $15 over really isn't that big of a deal in my opinion when it comes to groceries. So not super concerned about anything here. Could we have saved money by just like getting everything at once? Probably. Did we have a couple like relatively small trips to the store that probably added up to that $15? Yeah. Am I gonna go bankrupt over $15? No. So let's move on to the next item, which is eating out. So we ate out a couple times. I am ashamed at the number of times that that brand is in the list. Ashamed. Jacob, we need to do better, okay? Oh my God, it's a majority of the times we went out. That's not acceptable. $10.37 was for Cinna Sticks. That was a treat. This one, Jake had a friend help him with the house stuff and he was like, you know what I'm craving right now is Domino's. And we were like, hell yeah, we have a loyalty number. I do not recall going to Domino's for $17.03, but I assume that was a pizza and Cinna Sticks, and that one is just not acceptable, to be honest. That one needs to go. We went out for Chinese ones, and then we went to just like a local burger spot that is delish once. So what I want from this category in the future is just that this is filled with better food. We were technically over budget. It's gonna be okay. We were over by $9.54. So had we not gone to Domino's for the third time in a month, that would have been fine. Let's just do a quick check into the car's budget. See what we did. You go away. I got gas. Somebody got gas. So 3 gas stops on this and then paying tolls. Jake has a long commute and $27 in a month for tolls. That's acceptable. We budget for it. That is where personal finance is wonderful because you can budget for things that make your life just that much easier. Okay, thank you. Next. Household expenses got expensive this month. That's what I want to talk about the most. This is what I'm most excited about. So this month, I had the time of my life. We went through our entire house and touched every single item. We ended up taking 2 full Subaru Outback loads to Goodwill. We sold a decent amount of stuff, and then we also filled 2 trash cans with things that were trash. It feels so good. Now in this household, if we bring an item in, it has a home that it goes to. It is so organized. So as part of that, we bought a few items that we were like, we need this one thing in order for this to be perfect. A few like organization bins that we needed. We had sets from IKEA, so we took a trip to IKEA to buy those so that we just have the final matching set. A Tupperware lid organizer for our cabinet. And this stuff sounds silly, but for the Tupperware lid organizers, that's something that we're gonna have for the next 50 years now. So we bought that kind of stuff as part of this reorganization, and that is where a majority of our money went in terms of household expenses. There's a few others though. $294.75. So almost the entirety of our $300 budget was actually on house reorganization stuff. We needed garden stakes because the deer have been eating my aspen tree. So we needed to put some wire fencing around that. And then of course, Spotify, we have the Duo Spotify. Jake had an app subscription renew. I think it was a weather app for $34.99. So that's in there. So that is why we are over budget for household items, and also why I am 0% concerned about it. We try to be very intentional about making purchases that are one and done purchases and not just buying crap to buy crap. So this was a little bit inflated compared to how it usually is, but no regrets. Okay, we won't dive into Jake's personal spending, but let's dive into Sandra's personal spending, shall we? I got a new wallet because mine broke I have a wallet attached to my keys because my brain is useless and I will not remember to bring a bag or wallet with me if I leave the house. So I just have a little like credit card slot on my wallet. And after 5 years of use, it finally RIP'd. So I bought the exact same one because I love it. And I also have a keychain that like matches. They're from Thread Wallets. If you want to see it, I'll show it to you. This is my keychain and wallet. The keychain is older, it needs to be washed, honestly. And I just bought the matching wallet thing. I had the one where you like slid into a thing, and I got this one that just wraps around your cards, and I was a little nervy about it not being tight enough, but it's absolutely tight enough. And this is just great because this just hangs on my key hook because it has a home. And then anytime I leave the house with my car, I have my wallet, which has my 2 credit cards that I use for daily spending and my ID. So I'm never without those things. I'll link this down below if you're looking for a solution, because if you're like me and can't ever remember a purse or to grab your wallet or whatever, this changed my life. And I used to be without my ID probably too frequently when I was driving. And then I bought mosquito repellent things for $12.53. Big spender over here. Couple big savings updates. One thing that I don't have updated on this budget template is what our starting amounts were, because we just kind of started budgeting together. So we need to go through and start our buckets. On my template, you can actually set, I guess these are my starting amounts, so they're not super accurate. But so that you're not like starting from zero, you can say, hey, I have this much money in my emergency fund or whatever. I just find that helpful. Our buckets are misaligned, but we did spend from some buckets. Jake bought a tire and wheel because his commute was so far. He just wanted to have a spare that would be easy to change in the event that something happened. So he just went ahead and bought a tire and wheel for his car. So it came from our car maintenance bucket. We booked hotel rooms for our trip to Japan. What was really fun is we booked them all through our travel portals. We earned 10x points on every single one of these hotel purchases, but we spent $1,700, just shy of $1,800 on hotels for 10 days in Japan. So averaging out to $180 a night, actually that's not bad. And we got some nice hotels, so I'm pretty excited about that. That will come from our travel fund. He definitely has more than $785 in his travel bucket because I had $800 in my travel bucket. So these will be covered just from us saving for travel, which is why I love sinking funds so much. And now the only thing we have left to do is spend while we're there. For July, that's kind of where we're at, where we're standing, how we budget and manage our finances. And hopefully that's helpful if you're like, how do people afford to live here? That's what we spend our money on. For August, I don't have a lot of goals. I always have goals, but I don't have a lot of goals specifically for August. If I had to share a goal, it would be eat at Domino's once just for Cinesticks. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video and the level of detail that was involved in sharing all of that, tag along and I will see you guys in the next video. Do you like these videos? How are they going for you? Give me your feedback, let me know. I will see you guys in the next video. What do you mean the internal temp is too high?